us a constitutional right to manage our own elections as a local municipal affair, and as a charter city, we are allowed to pass our own policies and ordinances. So I don't know what they're trying to do, but we're going to take this as far as we need to. We have to go to the Supreme Court. That's where we're going. California's become so tyrannical. If they don't like a law that we're passing, if they don't like the way we're managing our city, they write a law to make our ordinances and policies illegal. When we voted for children to be protected from obscene material, all of a sudden they write a law saying that is illegal. When we vote for voter ID, they write a law saying that's illegal now. When schools wrote a law, their boards to notify parents when their children are having gender confusion issues, they wrote AB 1950. That illegal. That is lawfare. Our own state is attacking our cities, and we were just going to stand up and we're going to push back.
Now, ma'am, it was like a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago, and you were in the thick of this too, but I think it was Marietta in particular, a little south of you, north of San Diego, and their school board the people of Marietta put in representatives on the school board, conservative representatives, specifically on that issue you just talked about, the smut being given to our kids. And the school board president said, we're not going to teach Harvey Milk because he's a pedophile. And here's all these other things we're not going to teach. And Gavin Newsom came down hard on them and said, you're on our sites and we're not going to let you get away with this. And I remember talking to two of the school board members and I said, are you going to fight this? And they said, we're going to fight it all the way to the end. And it was about a week later they caved because the state came down and said they were going to take away a bunch of money and all this other stuff. Are you going to cave just like them?
Oh, absolutely not. We have our own in-house legal attorney, our legal department, and we do have resources that other cities or other districts don't have, which is why a lot of these things that we're doing, these ordinances, laws, and just policies we're passing, we're the first ones to do this because having an in-house attorney and the resources that we have really does help. It's not just that, but the residents, the voters, they support us and they're behind us 100%. So when the governor sues us over a law or ordinance, they're not just suing us, the four council members, the four conservative council members, they're suing the residents of the city of Huntington Beach. If we did not have the residents' support, if they did not want this, we wouldn't have moved forward. But the residents elected us for us to fight and push forward.
What happened?
We are the tip of the spear. We are the first city to move forward. Like for example, government flags with common sense policies, and all of a sudden that's considered radical right-wing nonsense.
Real quick on the government fund, you guys are you one of the towns that's like we're not going to do that anymore?
Yeah, well,
nobody's been fired, by the way. At least nobody's reporting of any firings. And the leadership remains. What do you think? You think somebody's talking to the maybe third would-be assassin right now? You think somebody's maybe gearing up the third would-be assassin right now? You think they'll take another shot or attempt to take another shot at Donald Trump within the next 28 days? What about after? What about after the election? You think they'll try to take another shot at him then? What about when he's president? You think they'll try to take another shot at him then? How many assassination attempts do you think will happen thanks to the Democrat Party, the deep state, and their corrupt members of the media encouraging this for 8 years? And so that's the thing. I'm not saying you have to agree with everything Trump does. You probably shouldn't. And certainly if you did, then you'd probably be getting into cult territory. But that's not even the point. If we had a real media, we would be rallying. The entire country would be rallying behind Donald Trump. Political class. And that isn't just an outright corrupt liar. The people would be rallying behind that. Finally, a breath of fresh air. We'd be dying for that, like a glass of cold water on a desert island. We sit here divided, just hoping we can win an election and then just hoping we can keep Trump alive, and then just hoping we can have a future where the U.S. government doesn't hate us, sell us out, want us dead, and tries to assassinate our political leadership or stand down at the moment it might happen. But even Melania knows that's what's going on. Couldn't be more obvious. Couldn't be more obvious. By the way, Biden Department of Justice makes a major blunder. This was earlier in the year. JetBlue Spirit Airlines merger blocked by federal judge over fears it would hurt competition. Federal judge, and this was at the behest of the Biden administration, blocked the JetBlue Airways from buying Spirit Airlines. Justice Department statements on JetBlue terminating acquisition of Spirit Airlines. It was done by the Biden administration. They forced it to happen. Well, now what's happened? Spirit Airlines has tanked. Its stocks have tanked. And it is now just a matter of time before it has to file for bankruptcy. I smell corruption here, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I smell. It didn't make any sense. Spirit Airline hasn't made money in years. It's been running in the red in years. JetBlue was basically an out to save the company, save the employees, save the stockholders from this collapse. A totally legitimate merger. I mean, how many other airlines can you think of off the top of your head? It's not like JetBlue and Spirit are the only two airlines. There's a lot of options for airlines. Spirit hadn't even been around that long. And the Biden administration cut that deal. I think somebody, I smell corruption here, folks. I think somebody's set to benefit big from this. And they got into the Biden administration's ear and they said, do not let this merger take place. We will benefit greatly if it doesn't. Because it didn't make any sense at the time. Experts in market analysis and mergers and acquisition didn't make any sense. And so it was always going to be inevitable. Clearly, it was always going to be everything they freaking do, man. Everything this administration does is against the people. By the way, you remember earlier when Kamala Harris said that the government doesn't tell men what they can and can't do with their body? Well, actually, did you know that raw milk is illegal in dozens of states? Now, this guy, Marjorie Taylor Greene, said raw milk does the body good, make America healthy again. We'll hear from a second here from RFK Jr. But look, I'm not going to, you don't have to drink raw milk if you don't want to. If you think it's bad for you and you trust the new process, then whatever, fine. Nobody's forcing you to drink raw milk. But if I want to drink raw milk, I should be allowed to. It's illegal in dozens of states. But this guy, Brian Tyler Cohen, Democrat Party propagandist, by the way, he used to be called No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, but he lies so much, and he got community noted so much, and it was like just blatant lies that finally he changed his name. That's how bad this guy is. He had to change his name from No Lie because he's such a known liar. But listen to this projection. He says, the thing that conservatives don't get while wallowing in victimhood, that's the liberal thing to do, is you guys are in the victim economy. You can't be victims enough. Nobody cares what you drink or eat. Your way of life isn't under attack. That's a story you tell yourself to justify fighting back against a non-existent enemy. Again, these people, they don't even, folks, that's what I'm saying. It goes back to the theme from earlier. They don't even care to be informed. They do not even care. He just says, oh, there's no one telling you can't drink raw milk. I think it's 28 states. Guys, look it up. I think raw milk is illegal in 28 states. Okay? You just had the government shutting down raw farms. You've got Robert Barnes in a lawsuit right now to trying to fight for Amish farms just to stay in operation because they sell raw milk and raw food. Yeah, that was his whole theme. No lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. He's such a liar. I mean, the guy is literally such a known liar, he had to change his name. Okay? But that's what I'm saying. They don't even care to be informed or not. They just want to show up and say, oh, I'm just going to debate with you. Oh, I'm a liberal. Oh, I have the moral high ground. I'm just going to disagree with you on everything, and I win. Raw milk is illegal. I believe the number is 28 states. All right, can you search what I wanted you to? Come on, just put it on the stream. I know you can do it. That's a body by raw milk right there. All right? So, hey, drink whatever you want.
Come on.
I like drinking raw milk. I've had good benefits. But nobody's making you do it. I'm just glad I don't live in one of the states where it's illegal. But he says that doesn't exist. Big lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. It just doesn't exist. I'm pretty sure it's 28 states. The crew is just, they're paralyzed right now. They're paralyzed.
In a moment, thank you.
They just can't, they don't know what to do. They're just stunned. They're just out on their feet. All right, I didn't get to some of the other news. We almost got to all of it. 4 states, that's it? Only 4 states where it's illegal? Well, that's good. Only some states it's legal to sell in stores. Some states you can only sell it if you go right to the farm. Some states you can have the farmer's market.
Thanks for waiting.
Yeah, mobile app
Well, that's good. It should be 0
BC17
states.
for Norm.
And I guess Washington, D.C. isn't really a state. Well,
Sorry.
there you go. So, hey, nobody's taking your raw milk.
All right,
It's illegal in multiple
Thank you.
states. Some state you can't actually cross state lines with it. But hey, you know, that's a non-existent. I mean, they're trying to shut down Amish farms. All right. I'll be live tonight on X and rumble.com/OMC there.
The globalist deep state just took their war on free speech.
Hey, Luke. Good to see you, buddy.
And our very freedoms to the next level. Now introduced
Morning.
a lawsuit against me where they literally claim they own my name, social media, and me personally in violation of the 13th Amendment that we fought the Civil War over. They're actually saying I'm an indentured servant, that I am a slave. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm always the canary in the coal mine. I am the test case. When they get through me, they're coming after you. They're not just saying
Getting my biscuits and gravy.
They've also filed in federal court and also in the state court saying they own the name Alex Jones and that they own real Alex Jones on X. Now, the courts have all said you can't do things like that, but they're trying it. And if I don't aggressively battle them in the state and federal court, they will get a win if I don't challenge it, and then they'll be able to use that tactic on you as well. And in the words of President Trump, when that bullet grazed his ear, defiantly rising up and saying, fight, fight, fight. That's how we fight. In the information war, winning hearts and minds, and we're unstoppable if you simply decide to take action. So for all your word of mouth, all your
Was he?
and all your
I missed
support
it.
over the years, I salute all of you.
I just got on the road. I'm heading into Toledo to work.
You are the resistance. You are the people.
Go about a half hour away.
Who've been working with all you through the years, and now the fight is entering the most intense part of the phase. So let's redouble our efforts and let's win this thing. Or we can roll over and be slaves to the new world order. As for me, I'll quote Patrick Henry. Give me liberty or give me death. And I'll quote Kurt Travis.
Yep. I don't need the receipt. Thank you. Is he? All right.
Batman, I'll never surrender.
I'll check him out. Hi. Thank you.
In October of 2016, WikiLeaks released the Podesta emails. Over 20,000 pages of private emails from White House Chief of Staff John Podesta. This is the best example of an October surprise in our lifetimes. The Podesta emails opened the minds of millions to the fact that torturing children is a sort of sacrament to the vile creatures in control of our government. This 2016 October surprise became known as Pizzagate.
Thank you.
Deciding factor for many people voting against Hillary Clinton. Just as the Sean Combs child rape stories are
Yeah, he
dominating
is.
the public discourse, Hillary Clinton predicted
Where's he at? I mean,
October
what part of
surprise
North Carolina is he
Kamala
in?
Harris, comparing
I know him and MCC and freaking media were hanging around Asheville like 3 days before the hurricane hit. It's crazy, the difference. Them doing their window shopping to devastation.
Stories stories are put on digitally that then are picked up by, let's say, at Fox and others. And then those stories are stories, so the mainstream press reports on them, and so that story then takes on a life of its own. There will be concerted efforts to distort and pervert Kamala Harris, who she is, what she stands for, what she's done. I mean, look, the crazy story about me running a child trafficking operation out of a basement of a pizzeria. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. It was a huge story. It starts online, often on the dark web. It migrates. It's picked up by the pro-Trump media. It's then reported on by everybody else, which makes sure it has about 100% coverage. And people believe it. So I don't know what it's going to be, but it will be something, and we'll have to work very, very hard to make sure that it is exposed as the lie that it is.
It sounds the victims have already come forward, including dozens who were children at the time, and revealed that drugging and raping people in front of a crowd of famous people was a routine.
Yeah, my favorite bar in this area, it's not in Toledo, but it's in a town called Rossford. It's called Red's Irish Goodbye.
Typically that drink,
I'm sure you know what that is.
victims is apparently released this time. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around, as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. Anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation. Anyone who participated in such in any way. Anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct. Anyone who was in the room and watched it happen, but made no effort to stop it. Any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on, but failed to stop it. Any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it, but did nothing to report it or stop it. And any individual or
Good
entity
age.
who covered it up or helped cover it up. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data.
Without knowing the target, remote viewers, the Future Forecasting Group, was assigned near future global events in the fourth quarter of 2024. Several feeding Seoul was planning a coup of some kind. Replacing one person with another, a swap or a change. It creates shock and awe, an unexpected change, like a last-minute sleight of hand before the show ends, like a new teammate or a new candidate. A strong, powerful male involved.
Nice.
Planned removal event. I don't think this is Trump. This person looked younger. I wrote, he reminds me of like Gavin Newsom, like that kind of look. Reporting for InfoWars, this is Gregory's.
91, yeah, that's a good life there. I don't want to live much beyond that, just because I'm worried about this degraded mind,
At InfoWars MD, you can find the most popular in-demand supplements
I'm a Taurus.
and sourced at the highest quality. Nitric oxide, probiotics, joint relief max, nerve relief, prostate support, collagen, superfood greens, turmeric, ashwagandha, CBD, along with mushroom max nutrition, better mood plus, libido RX, and good night's sleep.
1771 here.
For something that is valuable, not just for American people, but for people all over the world. She actually delivered an important speech. Can we please roll clip one?
Israelis and Palestinians can live securely side by side in a lasting peace with equal measures of safety, opportunity, and dignity. Now, moving on to the Hurricane Helene. President Biden and Vice President Harris continue to use every tool available to help communities devastated by Hurricane Helene.
Yep, 54 here.
That is the most valuable thing that we've seen from Karine Jean-Pierre for the past however many years she's been pretending to be effective. But in all seriousness, Peter Doocy, gosh, he's great, confronted her and she got really angry and stormed out. Let's roll clip 2.
To the impacted areas, but instead people want to do disinformation, misinformation, which is dangerous, because then when folks on the ground hear that, they may not want to ask for the help that they need. That is there for them. That's our focus here.
But President Biden is fond of saying, show me your budget and I will tell you what you value. If he's got money for people in Lebanon right now, without Congress having to come back, what does it say about his values? There's not enough money right now for people in North Carolina. That's not misinformation.
Wait, no, that is your whole premise of the question is misinformation, sir.
The whole premise of the question is misinformation.
Provided more than $200 million to folks who are impacted in the area, and I just shared with you that people are deciding not to. Wait.
Congress that there's not enough money to help people.
We're talking about the SBA disaster loan.
That's money for people in North Carolina.
And that's important, and people in North Carolina need that. Wait, this is nothing new. Peter, this is nothing new. Congress comes together, they provide money, millions of dollars, for disaster relief. We're asking them to do the job that they have been doing for some time.
The letter that President Biden
doing for some time.
Schumer and Jeffries. The president's letter is not misinformation. Would you agree?
No, the way you're asking me the question is misinformation.
Hey, Joe.
There's money that we are allocating to the
What do you see, buddy?
areas. And
I was lurking in on AJ. Do some uploads for this area.
It's there.
Very little info in this area. I'm
She
surprised.
said we have the money available to help survivors of Hurricane Helene.
We need to get a hold of Great Lakes. Tell him to start uploading some stuff.
Now there's going to be a shortfall, right? Because we don't know how bad Hurricane Milton is going to be, and so we're going to need additional funding.
That's exactly what I just asked about, and you said it was misinformation.
What you're asking me is why Congress needs to come back and do their job. That's what you're asking me. Congress needs to come back and do their job and provide an extra assistance, extra funding to disaster relief fund. That's what Congress needs to do, and we're going to continue to urge that. You may not want that, but that's okay. That's what this president wants, and that's what the vice president wants. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, so he's asking her a question. It's exactly what she was essentially responding to. You look at his face as she's explaining to him why the way that he's asking her this question is misinformation. He's literally asking her about the funds going overseas, the funds needed for the people. The whole discourse was very confusing because she's essentially looking for ways to not answer his question. But the point that stuck out to me the most here is that now we're saying even the way in which you ask a question is misinformation. This is the first time I've heard this. She says your whole premise of your question is misinformation. What? How can a question be misinformation? How can the premise of a question be misinformation? Because of the way that you frame something? So now you have to frame a question based on, let's just talk about questioning someone. You have doubts or you have genuine concerns about something, you want to address certain aspects of something, you say, well, how about this? But what she's essentially saying is, unless you ask me a question that agrees with the official narrative without suggesting anything else may be at play or having any sort of curiosity whatsoever, it has to be has to be based on the official narrative. And she goes on to say, again, the way that you're asking me the question is misinformation. Seeing is an increase.
Dude, I've got a
this
beam video
rate
of that press conference. I'm going to play it on my desktop stream. It's fucking hilarious.
To censor misinformation, Tim Walls, there is no First Amendment protection for misinformation. There actually is. Hillary talking about needing to take potentially civil action against people that are spreading what she calls false information or propaganda or whatever the case may be. These are all violations of the First Amendment, obviously, but they have found a way to circumvent that by treating this as a domestic threat or a threat to public health or a threat to democracy or whatever the case may be. And it's really funny because Kamala Harris just got questioned on democracy, and her response proves that these people do not care whatsoever about democracy. They operate outside of democratic principles. Take a look at clip 3.
Is democracy best served by President Biden stepping down and basically handing you a nomination? You didn't have to go through a primary process. You didn't have to fight off other contenders. That's not really the way our system was intended to work.
President Biden made a decision that I think history is going to show is rare among leaders.
It's never happened.
Which was to put country before self. And I am proud to have earned the support of the vast majority of delegates and to have been elected the Democratic nominee to fight in this election over the next month for our democracy.
But I think this truncated process is why people think or say they don't really know who you are.
Look, I've been in this race for 70 days.
Okay. You didn't answer the question. You skirted around the question. She says that I think that history will show that Biden has made a decision that is rare among leaders. Yeah, you bet he did. You bet he did. He's gone outside of the democratic process. Not his choice, by the way. It was a coup. But the coup that you participated in, a coup that you potentially orchestrated, by a bare minimum participated in. So the question is about the democratic process. The question is about how you even became the nominee. And then you say that Biden put country before self. This is her, explaining away how he, not by his own will, by the looks of it, stepped down and made her the nominee. And then she says, I'm proud to have been elected the Democratic nominee. You weren't elected by the people. This is not a people's democratic process that occurred. This was a coup. And then she goes on to say that she's fighting for our democracy. So just going back to the discussion about fighting for democracy, protecting democracy. Misinformation is a threat to our democracy. And the word that they're using, democracy, is not even
I think Marcy might actually have a challenge in this area now.
It is 100%
they're really grilling her.
Dictatorial power that these people are displaying. They are constantly doing things that are completely unconstitutional.
And they're not saying
explicit
negative things about her. They're just saying that she hasn't done anything in the last 15 years. A commemorative coin is the only bill she's proposed in the last 15 years.
About Hillary Clinton, that was, they got around that by saying it was election interference. So they are constantly attacking the actual democracy, which, it's a republic. And so they keep hammering this concept, democracy. They are actually teaching their base that democracy actually looks like a liberal dictatorship, which, by the way, many liberals want because they're brainwashed, even though over the past few days we've been discussing that they are waking up. For example, Kamala's appearance on that sex podcast and the viewers' response, fans of that podcast, saying this is just unacceptable. There are people in North Carolina who are dying right now. They need help from the government. Karine Jean-Pierre says that if you even ask that question, it's misinformation because of the way that you ask that question. We see that people in North
premise
Carolina,
of the way.
like that video that we showed of that young gentleman crying, saying, I support Kamala, where is she? People are waking up to the realities of the left, but not fast enough. Maybe it'll take seeing the response of the government to this next crisis, which, by the way, now they're saying, oh, Ron DeSantis is not working with Kamala Harris. He doesn't want her involved in the response. Yeah, damn straight he doesn't want her involved in the response. Because anything that this administration does via their federal government has been an absolute disaster. It's sabotaging the people. Any governor who has serious concern about their people would want this federal government run by this administration nowhere near their state, nowhere near their people, especially in a disaster situation. And right now, the situation in Florida is very serious. We have a picture 4, Florida I-4 and I-95. This is someone saying everybody left last night, 6 hours. My friend made it 110 miles. State put out notice that no gas is available anywhere in the red zone. They are stuck. So there's been a lot of talk about what's going on with the fuel situation. I saw someone post a video saying what's going on. The gas stations say that they don't have any gas. They've got signs on, but they actually do. So I spoke to someone in the know yesterday, and that person advised me that Florida stores a lot of their fuel above ground, and in order, they need to move the gas out of the region when there is a hurricane coming, because they risk the hurricane blowing, sure that all the gas stations in the area are stocked up, and then they move it north, and that's what they've done in this instance as well. And so also there was some big sports match apparently over the weekend, which brought, I think they said something like 80,000 people to the area, which means that surrounding areas also were drained of fuel during that time. I mean, the state has been preparing for a few days now for this expected hurricane.
All right, guys.
And so apparently this is normal practice. This is
love you. We'll see you in a bit. Peace.
And it's actually done for the safety of Floridians so that you don't end